Hi everyone, I had a couple of requests following my content around my hybrid productivity setup to see how you could create a page like this. This is the page that I did essentially my life audit in at the end of 2024, and it allowed me to shape my actions that I would take in 2025 to work towards my goals, and it's working very nicely. So I am just sitting down to film this video for you today. So if you want to recreate this either for yearly planning or just anything else, hopefully it will help. It's essentially just formatting options and columns. So once you've learnt how to use these in capacities, you can reuse them anywhere you like. So I hope this is helpful. Let's get started. Okay, so I'm in a new page and I'll just call it 2025, and I'm going to immediately toggle on the wide layout because I'm going to use columns. I find columns very visually appealing, and actually they're basically one of the core reasons I started using capacities all the way in 2022. So I use them a lot. And what we're going to do is create like one of the area sections I made, and then we will duplicate it. So in the page that I have a heading called areas for the year, and underneath it and indented, so with a tab, I have a quote about the importance of, I think it's actually a definition of like goal setting, but it's so neatly explained. It really tickled my brain, and I like to have it as a reminder of connecting goals to action. I will leave the link to that in the description, but I also like to add colour. So the way I do it is I do / and then the colour name, and there we go. Next, I want to add like one unit, so one area that I'm focusing on for the year. I'm going to add a toggle first. And the first one we'll do is finances. And what I want to do is format that very simple text to, first of all, have an icon, and second of all, to have a large heading. And then I'm going to press enter and indent so that everything else that I do is within that toggle. What I did next was I worked out why that area had meaning to me. Why was it important to me? And I put that into a quote block. But you can also click the 6 dots and click quote here. And again, I like the colour, so / violet. Underneath that, I did a horizontal line. And then I started thinking about what specific goals I had for my finances in 2025. And just like with the why, I used a quote block. And I actually chose this format of using arrows and clicking shift and enter underneath that to get line breaks. All of this I wanted to have a coloured in background as well, so I chose blue. Click enter again, and that takes me out of that block. Another horizontal line, that was just 3 dashes like that. And then I started thinking about any actions that I would need to take before 2025, because I was doing this at the end of 2024, I think from about November, to like get me ready. So I made another toggle. Because my toggle style is this bullet point, I can use the like 1 dash and a space to create a toggle as well. So you can either use dash and space or this and space. I'll call it action plan, and I put that in bold. And this was just any specific actions that like had a start and an end. They're not repeated. It was literally just setting up for focusing on this area. And then another horizontal line, and then another toggle for routines. Create that toggle, enter and tab, and finances, for example, we could do check-in and the payday routine. And underneath these toggles, I use to-do blocks. And something that I realised, literally when I sat down to film this video, is I could have just used block references to sync these routines to my routine pages. So if I make a new page, I can shift and enter to open it in the sidebar, so you can see what I mean. I showed that I have a list of routines, and they will technically be duplicated information from what is in my 2025 page to my routines page. And there's no need for that, because what I can do is click these 6 dots, go to copy, copy block reference, and paste that there. And if I add another item, it will be updated in this routine page as well. So this keeps everything a bit neater, and I'm glad I finally realised that. And I can collapse them like that. You might not want to do it like that, but for me, I don't like duplication, so I will be adjusting my personal pages to look like this. But I will just close that. It's just an aside, because this is now one whole unit of the real setup that I have. Now it's in a toggle, so obviously all of that can be moved away, but that also makes it really easy to duplicate, because I want to use this exact same setup for my other areas as well. So all I need to do is rename and choose the different icon. And then I can click the 6 dots and create my column. So I'm just going to drag it right to the end until I see that vertical line. Same again for hobbies. And now I know, if I select by clicking on the 6 dots, that I have those columns. Now that I've done that, I can open all those toggles, and now it's ready to fill out. I really enjoy the setup because it uses the whole page, it's visual, it's engaging, and as I said, it is working nicely for me 6 months through the year as well. But I did also want to tell you that you could do something very similar in a more structured way with a table. So you could do areas, why, goals, action plan, routines, and then you can do your areas above this. Now this is obviously cut off a bit, but it's because it's within this column, which you can see because I've selected it. So if you ever have this, just drag until you see the horizontal line go across the whole width of your page, and then it's fixed. Tables have their own formatting option. There's a video about this on the Capacities channel, so I won't go too far into this, but you might find this to be a nicer alternative if you prefer structure. I think I did this or something similar to this in 2024 and it was fine, but obviously this is what I chose to do this year. So that is how I set up that page and how it can link into routines as well. If you have any questions about this, please let me know.